Now, when it comes time to show details about a specific challenge, we don't want to define a route for each individual challenge that we have inside of our application. Instead, we want to allow the route to accept a dynamic identifier for the challenge that we're specifically after. That's where route parameters come into play. They allow us to specify one or more portions of a route's pattern as dynamic under the pattern's name that we provide. For example, back within our routes, if we want to define a new show page to show a specific challenge's details, we can identify which specific challenge we're after by its ID value, using a dynamic route parameter inside of the URL's pattern. This saves us from having to define an individual route for each challenge that we have inside of our application. So if we were to do a router.get/challenges/:ID, we're defining within this pattern that we are accepting an ID route parameter. And AdonisJS knows that we're defining a route parameter via the colon prefix that we're providing in front of the ID name. So the colon starts a route parameter designation, and the term that follows is that route parameter's name. So in this case, we have a route parameter called ID. Within our route handler then, if we get this added in as a callback function, we have access to that challenge ID via ctx, our HTTP contexts, params object, and then within here, it's going to be whatever that route parameter's name is. In our case, that's going to be .id. Up until now, we've just been rendering HTML pages using Edge.js, but for right now, let's go ahead and just return this challenge ID that we're getting back to see exactly what it is that we're getting. When we jump back into our browser and we add in /1, which is our Learn Adonis challenge identifier or ID, hit enter, we're going to get back a plain text response of just that challenge's ID from its route parameter that's been parsed. By default, AdonisJS will use content negotiation. If I jump into the inspect panel, we can go into network and hit refresh, and it will use this content negotiation to determine the appropriate content type to respond with by using the accept header. So if I were to click on this, we can see over in the headers section, we have our response headers, and the content type that we're getting back is text/plain, so a plain text response. If we instead specify this specifically as a JSON response using the response on our HTTP context instead, so to access this, we can do ctx, and then we have access to our response off of that HTTP context. On this response, we can alter or add to the response that we get back for our request. So if we specifically want to send back JSON data, there is a JSON or JSONP method that we can add in here. And since this expects JSON, we need to provide in an object with a key. So I'll just call this ID since that is our route parameter name. If we give this a save, jump back into our browser, give it a refresh, you'll notice that the view that we get here has now changed. Instead of a plain text response, we're now getting the browser's or Firefox's here default viewer for the JSON response. And if we take a look at the particular response's content type now, we're getting back application JSON. Again, I do want to reiterate the response that we're seeing in our browser differs from the actual response that we're getting from our server. The raw response that we're getting from our server is a literal JSON object with our key and value. And then what we see in the document here is the actual browser's JSON viewer. So yours might look different if you're using a different browser, but the one that we see here is from Firefox. All right, we can close that back out. And while we're here, you might notice that the value that we're getting back is a string, meaning that if we were to move our challenges from our list page out of the route handler block and into the root of our document so that both of these route handlers can access it. So I'm just going to plop it up here after our imports. Then inside of our show route handler, if we were to do const challenge equals, and then reach through to that challenges array to try and find the particular row that we're after. We could do row.id equals ctx params ID. However, here we're comparing a string value from our route parameters to a number value in our row. So to appropriately do this, we would either need to do a loose equality check, which ESLint will complain about as this is prone to unexpected behavior, or a strict equality check, and then we can convert this to a number. Then if we go ahead and return back our challenge within our JSON response, give this a save, jump back into the browser and give it a refresh, you'll note that we're able to find our challenge A-OK thanks to that conversion. Instead of doing this though, we can utilize route parameter matches and validation to 1, ensure that the ID is a valid number for this route to actually be matched against and used, and 2, cast that ID route parameter to a number within our params object that's been parsed. So to do this, we can chain off of our route definition a where method, and this accepts into the first argument the route parameter that we want to validate. So that will be our ID there. And then the second is the matcher. This is what will be used to validate the route parameter's value. So here we could use something like regex to state that this should be a valid numeric value, just like so. And then we're going to get a red squiggly here. That's just for formatting from our linter there. So we can give that a save to reformat it. So now if the ID route parameter value is not a valid number matched against our regex here, then this entire route definition won't even be used for that request, and the request will continue onward. Whenever AdonisJS is trying to find a route definition to use for the request that's been sent, it starts from the top down and it will stop at the first route definition that matches for that request. Once it finds a match, it will use that route's handler to return back a response, and it won't check any of the other route definitions that we have inside of this file. Right now, though, we're just merely checking whether or not this ID can be a valid number. We're not actually casting it to a number, so our conversion is still needed. We can, however, expand upon this validation to include casting by switching this to an object with a match holding our previously defined regex and a cast callback function that takes in the value and allows us to perform our casting inside of here. So with that set, whenever we do ctx params ID, this ID is now going to be converted to a number value. So we no longer need to perform this inside of our actual handler. So if we give this a save, jump back into our browser, give it a refresh, still working a-okay. This is a common scenario to have within your route definitions. So AdonisJS has provided us a convenient matcher utility that we can use in place of this object here. And we can access those predefined matchers by doing router.matchers. And you can see we have one for number, slug, and UUID. So if we plop number there, we're now performing the exact same match and cast that we were previously performing with our manual objects. Now, as you might guess, a typical application is going to have multiple resources, meaning multiple instances where we're going to need something like an ID inside of our route parameters. So rather than applying this matcher on a per route basis for each of those, we can just say, hey, anytime that you see an ID route parameter, go ahead and apply this matcher to it on a global basis inside of these route definitions. By jumping up to the top of our route definitions and doing router dot and applying this to our router on a global scale up here. Anytime AdonisJS finds a route definition called ID, it's automatically going to apply this matcher to it for us, meaning that our ID route parameter value is still being cast to a number here. So if we give that a save, jump back into our browser, refresh, everything's still perfectly fine. Okay, let's go ahead and rig this up to a page now. So within our pages, challenges, within our resources views, we can right click, new file, or again, you can use the ACLI for this as well. And we'll call this show.edge, again, keeping to our resourceful naming convention. Hit enter to create that file. And then within here, we can apply our layout, end that layout. And then inside of its slot content, we can add in a div with an h1 using our challenge via string interpolation to plop out its text value. And then underneath the h1, we can add in a paragraph text to show the number of points that the challenge is worth. Again, we'll use string interpolation to reach for the points value there. Give that a save. And now within our index page, we can link to our show page by using an anchor element inside of our unordered list item. So we can wrap our H3 here in an anchor. And what we want to do is select these two elements right there, hold Option and hit the up arrow. And we can just move that selection around, putting it inside of that anchor tag. For our anchor, we want to set the href to /challenges/ and then we can use interpolation inside of this attribute to apply the individual challenge that we're currently looping over's ID value, building out that dynamic ID route parameter that this pattern for our show route accepts for this href attribute here. Then before we jump back into our browser, we also need to jump back into our routes because we're still returning back a JSON response. So instead of that, we now want to return ctx view render, reach for our pages directory, and then we should have our challenges show page showing up within that autocomplete. Within the render state for this view, then we want to provide in the individual challenge that we found from our array. We can give that a save. And if we jump back into our browser now, give this a refresh, we should see our page here showing the individual challenge that we have requested. Inside of our URL, if we switch the identifier from 1 to 2, you'll see that the challenge that we're viewing has now changed. Again, because this portion of the URL accepts a dynamic value via that route parameter. If we head back into our challenges index page now though, our formatting's a little funky, that's okay. But these are now links as well, pointing to this specific challenge's show page. So if we click on build an AdonisJS app, that's the challenge that we jump into via the URL's route parameter.